I'm just recording this because I feel like in the next 30 minutes when the market closes, something crazy is going to happen. So, I don't know if anyone else is recording this, and so I might as well grab a good screenshot of all the things that you need to know about what's happening in the market and kind of see how the stocks work for your own eyes. And then, after you see what happens, hopefully you invest in GME and AMC. Of course, I'm thinking the market's going to collapse and GME and AMC are going to skyrocket, but I could be wrong. I've been saying that for a couple weeks now. If it doesn't happen today, then my next guess is tomorrow morning. Oh man, let's go right now.
Hi, Sarah. Hello, everyone. The Border Patrol says that two vehicles entered the U.S. through a hole that was cut in the border wall. One had a deadly crash with a tractor trailer, killing 13 people. Another SUV carrying
I got
19
so many
people
options in my portfolio right now.
captured by Border Patrol agents. In Los Angeles, Tesla took
Get all my
photos of
AMC
a
options.
black box from a
Thousands of calls.
SUV. They're trying to get a better picture of what
Almost a
happened.
little over 3,000 calls.
Seriously, the
Then on
loss.
GME, I got
A Senate panel deadlocked along party lines in the nomination
maybe 600-700 calls.
Department of Health and Human
So what
Services.
would that be? 60, 70,000 stocks?
Republicans have criticized the
Shares
senator
of
for his
stocks?
defense of abortion rights law when he was California's attorney general.
I like it.
And ahead of International Women's Day, Mattel is releasing new Barbie dolls.
Then I got some calls and puts on a couple of other companies, but they're all pretty cheap.
And influencers of today, like actress and activist Yara Shahidi and model and activist.
Some of these I spent a lot of money on. Let's check them out. Alright, so this one I spent 8 grand on. It's worth 1,400. 900 on, worth 375. 61,000 on, worth 4,000. Ouch. That one's gonna pay me so much though when this happens in the next 3 days. And then this one, 2,000 for 500. This one, 3,500. 1,200, 550. So that was my AMC. Let's check out my GME. 6,700, 1,600 now. 31,000, now it's 5,000. 1,800, now it's 400. 122,000, now it's 11,000. 27,000, now it's 2,000. 2,000, now it's 2,000. It's time to fucking pay. Give me my money. If Rocket drops down to $20, I'll make 100 grand. If Riot drops down to $20, I'll make 100 grand. If Tesla drops down to $200, I'll make probably 500 grand. If UWMC makes it to, let's say, $25, I'll make, let's say probably 2 or 3 million. If MIK goes down to $15, I'll probably make like 200 grand. The options are priced so weird right now, but let's see how close I was to my predictions. And then like if GME and AMC obviously go to like $1 million a share, then I make $1 trillion. So that'd be cool.
The Bond Report is brought to you by PIMCO, a global leader in active text engine.
Riot was up 10% today. Lost everything. Tesla was up a couple percent today. AMC and GME keep going down and then up, down and then up.
CNBC access to fresh food being the global norm, not the exception. At Emerson, our cold chain software and technology keep perishable food at proper temperatures to assure its safety and quality. Emerson, consider it safe.
At our events, we gather people who have real problems that they're solving.
March 18th, join CNBC's Inclusion in Action Forum for strategies that create equity and opportunity for all. Register now at cnbcevents.com/inclusion.
Welcome back. Virginia is the latest state to approve the now awaiting federal signature. Under the legislation, legal possession of regulated sales will not begin until January 2024. Rural County CEO Miguel Martin joins us now in an exclusive interview. Very good afternoon to you, Miguel. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
Do you see more states continuing down this path, and do you see federal action on this front as well? How big a game changer is that for you and your industry?
I think it's a huge game changer. Obviously, we have Governor Murphy in New Jersey, and this mentioned Governor Northam in Virginia. You know, this is a really strong economic issue as well as a social issue. And so I think we're really headed to the tipping point of where the states are.
Sea Cuisine pairs premium seafood with the finest ingredients. Our chefs did the work.
Did you like that? Did you like that? Oh man, it's a little animation in there. We have fun on this channel. If you guys have not yet made the acquaintance.
Is that something you would rather not see included? Is that a threat to your business, or anything just generally moving in the direction of legalization is really positive?
No, it's not a threat. We see structure in Canada and other markets. It's sort of like homebrewing that you see in craft beer. Any sort of connection to the planet, overall awareness, and positivity around that aspect is good for the industry. So, you know, when you see those home grown provisions, it's definitely
USDC instead. Here is my advice for Bitcoin. It is currently up to 50,900 and change. It might be up. Granted, it might be up, but the most important part about Bitcoin is that it's going to be a long-term asset. So if you want to put in some money into stablecoin and to a BlockFi account, keep making 8.6% interest. And then whenever Bitcoin dips again, you can just go ahead and buy in with your stablecoin. That is the strategy that I'm using. I'm slowly trickling in every single red cent that I have that is not in a stonk right now into...
That's bad advice. You can tell that he is definitely a shill, but at least he keeps the attention on GME and AMC, and the crowd is a bunch of apes, so I love it. But yes, he pushes Bitcoin way too much.
So we'll see what all those make you feel outside and feel more confident going inside. This is how you become the best.
That GME spike. Let's go, GME. Let's go for real.
14 minutes left in the trading day. We are now in the closing bell market zone. Commercial free coverage and all the action going into the close. CNBC Senior Market Commentator Mike Van Vliet here to break down the crucial moments of the trading day. Away from the daily top. Reynolds Wealth Management CEO Tom Brown back as well. We'll kick it off with the broader market. Stocks are under pressure heading into the close. The Nasdaq's on track for its worst two-day drop in 6 months. It is a lot of those high-flying tech names that are under the most pressure. It's also dragging down the S&P. Down 0.75%. Josh, what do you do? Dividend stocks like Apple and Tesla and have had a great run here. Is this going to stay, this total repositioning of the market off higher yields?
Well, I think it's important to just be very honest with each other and ourselves and say we know how long these episodes will last for, and that's why we build diversified portfolios. I know it's boring and no one wants to hear it, but these environments, when there's a huge change in trend, are exactly the reason you never want to put yourself into a position where all of your bets are on one side of the boat. You can't do it. Like in real life, you can't do it. There are people with very concentrated positions in these large cap technology and growth names, and that's been a great trade. It's worked flawlessly. Something changed sometime around late summer. There was a little bit of a shift in trend. It was imperceptible at first, and now it's obvious. Now the new consensus trade is get out of large tech, get into small value. I don't know that that's something that you want to bet on continuing forever either, but it's really pronounced. You take a look at the Russell 2000 value today. Russell 2000 value up 1.6%. Russell 2000 gold down 1.6%. They're almost like looking glasses of each other. So this is what happens when we make one bet versus the other, as opposed to just being in a position of humility and saying I'm going to own a little bit of everything. And I understand that at any given time I will have the Teslas and the Apples that don't look so hot, and I have to live through that.
Mike, to that point, as striking as big tech's decline, is banks and energies continue to march higher?
Right, so it's not that complicated a story. The huge mega cap growth stocks benefit from the scarcity of growth
those are telling you that there's a lot of distribution and a lot of money trying to get out. Walmart's interesting. Stock is in free fall. 8 straight days where the close is lower than the open. Walmart now at a 15% drawdown. Not really a tech stock, but a lot of the reason why it went up was because it was a company that could thrive in a lockdown, work from anywhere environment. So what the pandemic giveth, the pandemic now taketh away. Am I doing that right? So I think it's really important that we just recognize there's no such thing, Wolf, as one-way trades. One-way trades are not real. They can masquerade as being one-way trades for a long time. ARK is a really good example of that. It looked like a one-way trade. How could this not work? Boom, you lost 50 of money that you had in ARK from 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's how fast. So we must remain diversified, and we must act as though everything in our portfolio can go in both directions.
A new ETF trying to cash in on the Reddit trading frenzy is getting a lot of buzz on Wall Street. Leslie Becker's got the details. Hi, Leslie.
Hey, well, that's right. Ticker BUZZ set to take flight tomorrow, known as the VanEck Vectors Social Sentiment ETF. This tracks an index that uses analytics models to find 75 large cap U.S. stocks that they believe have the most positive investor sentiment. Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports throwing some marketing muscle behind this ETF. Portnoy tweeting his support to his 2.4 million followers yesterday. Here's the catch though, BUZZ only rebalances once a month, so it's likely to miss many of the quick shifts of these socially driven stocks. Additionally, it only invests in companies with market caps over $5 billion, guys.
Leslie, thanks so much for that. Mike, is this a sign of, well, we've pointed to many and we've been wrong, of sort of marking the top, but is this type of activity something that you would typically point to in that regard?
Well, I don't know about marking the top of anything in particular. The ETF industry is going to try these somewhat gimmicky or at least fuzzy sounding strategies for some thematic approach to the market, something that seems like it's one step ahead. But I do think there's a little bit of a trap, as Leslie said. Once a month rebalancing, there's a chance for getting whipsawed around depending on how often they chase some of the social activity. 75 large cap stocks, by the way, it's very difficult to have much to distinguish that portfolio from an overall broad market index if they're going to be all above $5 billion. So we'll see.
Are you buying? John? Buzz? I mean, social media is a new phenomenon for tracking stock performance, I guess.
Yeah, no, it is. Maybe there are trades to be done with this, but like from a long-term investing perspective, because it's a monthly rebalance, the holdings will be so radically different from like let's say January to December. So if you're like a longer-term investor, like what are you investing in all this? So I don't have an issue with it. I understand that markets have changed and obviously social. I was somebody that was watching this whole thing develop from within. So I understand that there's a lot of signal coming out of social media. I just don't know that that's something that I necessarily need. But it'll be really interesting to watch whether or not this thing attracts flows. And I would just say so far, everything Portnoy's touched has turned to gold. So a lot of people were saying the Penn Gaming thing was a bubble when the Barstool deal was announced. They were like, who cares? It's just these internet guys, blah, blah, blah. This could be one of the largest market cap gaming companies in the country by the time Barstool and their personalities are done marketing it and promoting it and doing events with them. So I don't know that I'd want to bet against this finding an audience. It just doesn't necessarily fit in with the way that I'm investing, but there's nothing, that doesn't mean it's good or bad.
And just a quick point on that, it's not as if the industry has neglected this idea of mining social data sets to try to trade. I mean, this is just the retail version of an activity that's been going on in a very high-powered way, and there's entire trading systems based on
Hedge funds are
it
doing
for
this.
a very long time. So this is just kind of, this is like your version of it to trade on the stock exchange.
Also, Mike, to that
They've been
point,
using AI.
you know, a lot of people would mock this idea. Oh, it's just a herd. You're gonna get all these people to herd themselves into a herd, or they would say like, oh, that's so corny. That's the top for FinTwit or whatever. This is not very far apart from people that were following foot traffic at different stores in the mall in the 1980s and 90s. Like it's not that different. It's just faster paced and arguably more sophisticated, not
This is looking anticlimactic.
Priced above the range actually at $39 a share, but opened $3 below that and has traded in the red all day. The tech-enabled Obamacare insurer is backed by Alphabet and co-founder Josh Kushner's Thrive Capital. It's actually doubled enrollment since 2019 to more than 500,000 after moving into the Medicare market. But in 8 years, it has yet to make a profit. And here, trading near the lows of the day. CEO Marty Schlosser told me, they considered doing a SPAC, but have a habit of doing things the hard way. And he wanted a real listing, he says. Competition's certainly getting harder as they look to push into more virtual healthcare plans, which all the big guys are looking at as well. Sarah.
Bertha, thank you. Bertha Coombs, Oscar down 10%. Mike, these higher rates, higher treasury yields, if they continue, does that end the IPO enthusiasm we've seen, or is this something specific?
I don't think it's rates so much. I think it's supply. It's just a number of new ideas. There's been something like 500 SPACs in the last year. Direct listings have tended to trade a little bit tough on the first day at times, so maybe it's not that surprising that you would get it a little bit of a sag there because it was not really a roadshow and underwritten offering. So it's the hazard of going this route.
2 minutes to go in the trading day. What are you seeing in the market internals as we reach session lows?
They've been very mixed all day, Sarah. Actually, earlier in the day, there were more stocks up and down in New York Stock Exchange. It's now changed, and it's very almost evenly split in terms of the New York. The NASDAQ much more negative. So you still see the average stock doing better than the large cap index just because the mega cap growth stocks getting hurt so much. It's been remarked upon. It's a stay at home versus the going out trade. And if you look at ETFs that track those two sectors, it's pretty stark this week. The work from home ETF down 2.5%, and then the leisure and entertainment, hotels, airlines, things like that, up 4% this week. So again, it's pretty much obvious type action, but it's still working for the moment. Volatility index definitely getting a bump here. We were kind of in the low to mid 20s for a while. We're still 26. This isn't panicky levels because you still do have the divergence in the different sectors that can suppress index volatility. But it's looking like it's an open close. It's over above 25 here.
It is an opening close with 55 seconds left. The Dow just sitting a fresh low. It has rejoined the selling in the last 20 minutes or so, having held on to gains for most of the session. There is the Dow's inflation drop down 1/3%, 111 points. S&P down 1.25%. The Dow, the Nasdaq, continues to be the laggard down itself, close to its session lows of 2.7%. The Nasdaq 100 down 2.9%. Big cap tech is selling off. Amazon, Alphabet, Apple all down close to 3%. Tesla down nearly 5% as we speak, and the selling continues as we approach the close. The Dow's down 120 now, sitting a fresh session low. We did get a little bit of a pickup in yields today, though we're off the highs 146 on the 10-year. Gold, silver low. Oil is gaining 2.5%, and energy development sector 1.4%. But energy, in fact, is giving up a bit of their gains into the close, hence why the Dow is at a session low itself with a 131.0.4% decline. S&P down 1.4%.
Well, that wasn't great. Let's watch the first couple minutes of the after hours, and then we'll call it a day. Lame. I mean, GME went up 5%. That was cool. In a world where everything else is collapsing, that's pretty cool.
Take a look at how we finished the day on Wall Street, making new lows of the day at the close.
He's usually the best to watch the after hours. He's the one that's actually paying attention. Even though he does not like GME or AMC, I still kind of, I feel like he's like the normal dude out there. The normal Democrat motherfucker.
Today, along with energy and industrials, they were the three groups that closed positive, but the overall S&P down 1.3% because of weakness in groups like technology and consumer discretionary, each down about more than 2.4% apiece. Communication services, utilities also weak. The NASDAQ hit hard again, down 2.7%. Of those high-flying names that had done so well lately, names like Moderna, Lululemon, those were hit among the hardest as valuations come into question on those higher treasury yields. The Russell 2000 index of small caps down 1% on the day. Plus, Bitcoin bouncing back after a recent decline. We're going to discuss the outlook for crypto with the first analyst to initiate coverage of Coinbase ahead of its direct listing. Investors are now awaiting results from Snowflake and American Eagle. We'll bring you those.
All right.
Snowflake and
as
Wait.
they are released. First up, though, let's talk about this sell-off. Josh Brown, still with us from Ritholtz Wealth Management. Gabriela Santos from JP Morgan Asset Management joins the conversation. First to you, Mike, on that ugly close. What drove it? Treasury yields were higher, but they weren't quite at those startling levels or the speed that we saw last week. So what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, yields have essentially been static most of the week. It's mostly just, I said an hour ago.
All right. Very interesting. So we got Snowflake coming up. I want to see what Snowflake is going to end up reporting. So let's go ahead and pull up Snowflake. Snowflake, look, if they do well, they'll go up, but not as much as they could because this market is spoopy doopy. I will pull up the Bloomberg terminal for Snowflake. Does anybody else have another earnings that they want me to look at? If you do, go ahead and type earnings and then the ticker symbol that you want. We'll go ahead and open up a couple tabs to get these earnings here. It is interesting. We're still in earnings season. I feel like there's so much going on in the market right now. Earnings. Oh, Costco reports today. Really? Shout out to you on Twitter there. You had somebody watching on Twitter wanting Costco information. So I'll open up the Bloomberg terminal. We'll see if we can beat CNBC to reporting to some of these. I don't know what OKT is, but OKT, I don't mind looking it up though. Bloomberg is pulling up, so we'll go ahead and pull this up. Let's, in the meantime, while this pulls, oh, no, here it comes. Yep, no, still loading. Okay, let's look at the sticks here. Let's get the initial reaction here in the after hours. So pull the after hours over here to the left. So Rocket continuing to decline here into the after hours. Forward bouncing, Neo bouncing. 41, it's under 42. Oh, man. Oh, it's so juicy. Tesla at 652, about $1 higher than what I just paid for it. For messages here for a moment. And let's go ahead and jump in here. So we got Snowflake. Let's pull up Snow. Come on. Snowflake. Don't be a snowflake and buy. Alright, here we go. Snowflake. US. And let's get individual company news up on this guy. Oh, here, wow, it's already in Snowflake. Okay, here we go. Okay, they reported right away. So lower loss than expected. That's good. Not a big beat. That's about a 10% beat. A little less, 8% beat. Sees product revenue. Okay, that guidance is right along expectation. Yeah, right along expectation here. EPS did well. Wait. Consensus 17. No, that's bad. That's not what they said right here.
Alrighty, guys.
Look, it says loss per share for Q4.
See what happens tomorrow.